A suspected school shooter caught and cuffed.
I just thought we were next. I thought my class was next.
Before a rush to reunite students and parents. Communication between Florida officers and the family of Brian Laundrie.
We are just as upset, frustrated, and heartbroken as everybody else.
As the search for him continues. Plus, a girl choosing to battle more than just brain cancer.
I don't have to go in under anesthesia for radiation.
The role she's playing in getting the COVID vaccine approved for kids. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Danelle Dukin.
And I'm Zitlali Solati. Today's Thursday, October 7th, 2021.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Officials rushing to get students out as they close in and arrest their suspects. The shots fired inside a Texas school.
After arresting the suspected shooter, officials discover that all the victims have survived, although 4 of them are injured. 18-year-old school shooting suspect Timothy Simpkins is now in police custody after facing 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in Arlington, Texas. After opening fire at Timberview High School, injuring 4 and then going on the run, Simpkins turned himself in on Wednesday afternoon.
He did report to an attorney, was talking to our homicide detectives, and he drove him into our police station. We took him into custody.
Police shared the gun used in the shooting has been recovered and turned over to federal agents for investigation.
It was a handgun, .45 caliber weapon.
Officials say a fight broke out between students in a classroom, and that's when the shooting started.
And we heard glass breaking, and he continued to shoot. And I called my mom, and I told her I love her.
Donald Williams, the school district spokesman, also sharing that more information will come about how the event escalated.
I can assure you that we're doing a thorough, intensive investigation as it relates to what transpired.
School security in the Arlington area has been on their guard after this shooting and social media threats.
I've got a call to action for parents. Take a look at your kids' social media. If they're putting out threats on their schools, they're going to be arrested.
Security has increased in all Arlington and Mansfield schools. Both cities are in the Dallas and Fort Worth area. Nationwide, there have been 21 school shootings this year.
Newly released video shows a deputy and the relatives of Mia Marcano confronting the man authorities said was the prime suspect in her killing. The video was released yesterday, the same day dozens of her neighbors protested for more security at the apartment complex where they live. The confrontation happened the same day Mia went missing, but the sheriff says his deputies simply didn't have enough evidence at the time to arrest Armando Caballero.
There was no basis for our deputies to detain or arrest Armando Caballero. Our deputies are not permitted to arrest or detain someone based on a hunch or based on what someone else is saying.
The sheriff goes on to say investigators are still awaiting a cause and manner of death from the medical examiner, but he hopes to give the Marcano family more answers.
New developments in the search for Brian Laundrie. His father, Christopher, has announced he'll be joining the search. The Laundrie family speaking out against the misconceptions they say are being peddled by the media.
We are just as upset, frustrated, and heartbroken as everybody else. And I am losing my parents and my brother and my children's aunt and my future sister-in-law on top of this.
The family finally breaking their silence. Authorities have not directly linked Laundrie to Petito's death, but they want to question him partly because of a federal arrest warrant that alleges he illegally used someone else's debit card.
A federal judge in Texas is blocking the state's new 6-week abortion ban that many see as a challenge to Roe v. Wade. The ruling from U.S. District Judge Robert Pittman allows abortions after the detection of fetal cardiac activity. The state's Attorney General's office says it will appeal, and it's likely to win in higher courts.
The Facebook whistleblower is expected to meet with the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th siege on the U.S. Capitol. Frances Haugen, who previously served as a product manager for the social media giant, says Facebook knowingly used its platform to spread misinformation and hate and contributed to the Capitol's riots. Haugen's meeting with the committee could happen as soon as today.
Democrats are in a financial frenzy facing pushback from Republicans on the debt ceiling deal just days away from their deadline. Yesterday afternoon, the Senate was unable to vote on advancing Democratic legislation in order to suspend the debt ceiling. According to Wisconsin Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin, her party is now considering a short-term solution from Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
In terms of a temporary lifting of the debt ceiling through close to the end of this year, we view that as a victory.
The White House is still pressing for a long-term solution that will put an end to this extensive process before the debt ceiling deadline on October 18th.
The popular live streaming platform Twitch suffered a massive data leak yesterday morning. Announced in a tweet, the company says the leak contained confidential user information, including passwords and financial data. Following the leak, many popular Twitch streamers whose incomes were exposed came out to confirm the exposed information.
Us Earthlings are sitting ducks if an asteroid ever hurls toward the planet. NASA is pushing to change that. The agency plans to conduct its first test for planetary defense the day before Thanksgiving. That's when the agency will launch a SpaceX Falcon rocket from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, aimed at a 525-foot-long asteroid named Dimorphos. NASA plans to use a satellite to record the impact and stream the test over its app and website, NASA TV. Both major South Florida airports chosen for a new rideshare program that times your ride based on your flight information.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
You have to go all the way over there.
Despite her cancer diagnosis, a little girl is all smiles as she advocates for animals, St. Jude's, and the COVID vaccine. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our fellow Americans.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans.
And soon, they will be available to everyone.
The science is clear. These vaccines will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
They could save your life.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
That's the first step to ending the pandemic and moving our country forward. It's up to you.
Raising fun as she raises funds. A little girl bringing a little California sunshine to her supporters online. A 6-year-old girl from California is going through the fight of her life with a rare form of cancer and is focused on helping others.
It's only been 2 months since Layla got diagnosed with cancer, so her dad decided to create a meaningful GoFundMe. In the meantime, she's making the most of her life at home in San Diego.
They cut it the same way they did the second time. Do you know most kids can't sit still for radiation? And I don't have to go in under anesthesia for radiation.
That GoFundMe has helped Layla fight this cancer and has also helped to raise more than $62,000, and it's on its way to the goal of $100,000.
Smoother pickup options at a South Florida airport, and they're being offered by Uber. The rideshare company had originally released the Reserve program in April 2021 and is now expanding to allow users to reserve a ride up to 30 days in advance from one of the 20 airports around the country, including Miami International and Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International. Uber says they will keep track of the flight so a driver will be waiting when it lands.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Danelle Dukin.
And I'm Zitlali Solache. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.